This is a lesson over body systems interactions. This is Human Body Step 3, and this is a lesson over Level 3 information. Let's unpack the learning target. The expectation is that you understand how the different body systems interact to keep a human alive. Notice that the word understands is in red. That means that I expect you to explain or describe how the different body systems interact. So if you understand something, you have a deeper knowledge than if you know something, and you're able to do something with that information, like explain it or describe it. Notice the word interact is in yellow. I'm going to define the word interact as working together. Now let's get started. The first systems that we're going to talk about are the skeletal, circulatory, respiratory, and nervous systems. And we're really going to focus on the skeletal system. So the skeletal system protects these other systems. Ribs are part of the skeletal system, and they protect both the heart and the lungs. The heart is part of the circulatory system, and the lungs are part of the respiratory system. The vertebrae, which are also part of the skeletal system, protects the spinal cord, which is part of the nervous system. And finally, the skull, which is part of the skeletal system, protects the brain, which is part of the nervous system. So as you can see, there are many parts to the skeletal system, and those parts protect parts of other systems. Here is a video that you can view. You can research them not so dry bones at the YouTube website and give it a go. The second interactions that we're going to talk about are skeletal, muscular, and nervous. These three systems work together to help you move. Muscles, which are part of the muscular system, are attached to bones, which are part of the skeletal system. They're attached by something called tendons. Since tendons attach to both muscles and bones, they're part of both systems. You have something called skeletal muscles, and those are the muscles that you use to move, and those muscles contract and relax. Most of your muscles are skeletal muscles. They're the muscles that are attached to the bones. Your bones provide a framework for the muscles. And finally, the brain and the spinal cord send the messages to the muscles for movement. So the brain and the spinal cord are both part of the nervous system, and those messages help your muscles, which are part of the muscular system, move. Here's another video that you can search on YouTube about the muscular system. All right, this is a bit of a long one because we're going to be looking at the digestive system. And we're looking at it in relationship to the muscular and the nervous system. And these things work together to help break down food into substances your body can use. And so the substances are both energy and nutrients. The other thing that these systems do is gets rid of waste. So first, food has to enter through the mouth and travel down the esophagus and into the stomach. The mouth, esophagus, and stomach are all part of the digestive system. Your brain is automatically sending messages to smooth muscles in your digestive system to move. So there are smooth muscles that line your esophagus and your stomach. And those muscles help the food get down your throat and into your stomach. The smooth muscles in your stomach help grind the food up into really, really small pieces. The small pieces are usually liquefied, so they're mixed up with water and other fluids, and they end up traveling into the small intestine. This is one of the most important parts of the digestive system. The small intestine has blood vessels all around the organ, and the nutrients are absorbed from the small intestines into the bloodstream. Materials that cannot be absorbed, so these are materials that cannot be used by your body, travel into the large intestine. Once in the large intestine, water is removed from the material and solid feces or poop are created. If your food or materials went through the large intestine too fast, you'd end up with diarrhea. Once the feces is created, it sits in the rectum, and then it exits the body through the anus. The digestive system also works with the circulatory system, and the circulatory system helps transport digested food around the body. So remember that when the food is absorbed into the bloodstream through the small intestine, that's where the energy or nutrients are now held, in the blood vessels. The blood vessels then carry the energy and the nutrients to the cells throughout your body. So for example, your brain is really far away from your small intestine. Well, your brain needs the energy and the oxygen in the blood, so the blood has to travel to that area. This is another great little video from YouTube. You could search it, the digestive process, what happens to your food as it travels through your body until it exits. You can watch the whole process. Now we're going to look at the respiratory and the circulatory systems. And these two systems work together to bring oxygen into the body, transport material around the body, and release carbon dioxide. So as you know, air enters through your nose or mouth and travels through the trachea and into the lungs. Nose, mouth, trachea, and lungs are all part of the respiratory system. There are blood vessels that surround the lung tissue, just like the blood vessels that surround the small intestines. And oxygen moves from the lungs into the blood vessels. Once the oxygen is in the blood vessels carry oxygen to the cells around your body. It also picks up carbon dioxide from your cells, so they do a little trading. The cells get oxygen, the blood then picks up the carbon dioxide. Since carbon dioxide is poison to your body, it travels back through the blood vessels, to the lungs, through the trachea, and out the nose or mouth. You can research circulation on YouTube and find this video. The muscular system works with the respiratory, circulatory, and nervous systems to get oxygen into the body and pump blood around the body. The diaphragm, which is a muscle, so you might think it's part of the muscular system, it's also part of the respiratory system. This muscle lays just below the rib cage, and it contracts and relaxes to pull oxygen into the lungs and push carbon dioxide out of the lungs. The heart is made of something called cardiac muscle. The word cardiac means heart. Cardiac muscles are what's called involuntary. You do not need to think about them moving, they just automatically move. The heart pumps blood through your body all the time. Blood that's full of oxygen is pumped by the heart through the blood vessels and to the muscles. Your brain, which as you know is part of the nervous system, is sending messages to your diaphragm and heart to continually move. So there's a part of your brain that sends those messages day and night to keep your heart beating and to keep your diaphragm contracting and relaxing. This video, Lungs in Motion, actually shows how the lungs work. And this final video, Schoolhouse Rock Telegraph Line, shows how the nervous system works. This was a lesson over body systems interactions, human body step 3, level 3.